You don't even know if that's possible. Listen, I get it. As a busy mompreneur to two adult children with special needs, this has been a challenge for me. So I developed my own time prioritization system, and today I am sharing the mindset and the strategy so that you can find more time for you and actually enjoy your life while you're building your business. So drop a heart if you are excited to hear how this is actually possible. Say hi to me if you're joining me live so that I can see who's here. And let's get right into it. So, the first step for achieving this work life balance is that you have to believe that it's possible. So, in order to achieve any goal, this is really the first step. You have to believe that it is possible that you will achieve your goal. And that's when your brain will start looking for evidence. So, mindset is so important because if you don't believe it's possible, your brain will look for evidence of that. So, and the reason why is because the way that the mindset model works is that our thoughts create our feelings motivate our actions, and then our actions give us our results. So, our thoughts become a self fulfilling prophecy. So I'll give you an example. I coached a mompreneur who also has a young adult on the autism spectrum, and her thought about being able to spend time with her family and prioritize her business and her health goals. Her thought about that was, I just have too much on my plate. And so when she was thinking, I have too much on my plate, then she felt overwhelmed, and when she felt overwhelmed, then all she did was spin in the thoughts of everything that she had to do instead of actually getting things done. And her result was that she still had too much on her plate. She still had her whole to do list to do. And this is how directly our thoughts create our results. So, through the coaching, I helped her to realize that it was actually that thought that was causing her to waste time in overwhelm. And then also through my time prioritization system, she ultimately was able to find time to prioritize her family, her health goals, and her business goals. So, if you are thinking that work life balance is not possible, then you're probably feeling defeated or discouraged. And the problem is, negative thoughts don't motivate us to take action. Instead, consider how it might be possible, right? And this is where I really step in to help my clients to see that different perspective and to help them focus on a more empowering thought so that they can take action. And so let's take a moment to do this now. If it were possible to enjoy work life balance, how would you do it? I would love to see your ideas in the comments, and I'm going to be sharing a lot of strategy and mindset shifts today. One way to enjoy work life balance is to set boundaries around your work time and also schedule what you want to do in your free time. So, I do recommend block scheduling. So, that's my second tip. Set boundaries around your work schedule and honor your schedule. And this is a challenge for a lot of us working from home. It's definitely a mindset thing, right? Have you ever noticed that when you're going to an appointment or you have an appointment, that you are actually ready no matter what? And even if that means like leaving dirty dishes in the sink, figure out figure out what time you're going to be there, and then you just commit to being there on time, right? And so I encourage you to have the same mindset when it comes to your working hours, right? Your business hours. Schedule your business hours and commit to them. So, being the parent of two adult children with special needs means that I also have appointments and phone calls to make regularly. So I decided to set aside a time to do that. And what I realized was that this really counts as work too, right? There was one day that I worked all day, and then I had a podcast in the evening, and I had dinner and dishes. And by the end of the day, I was just exhausted because I felt like I was working all day. And what I realized was that, yes, I did work all day. I needed to give myself credit for, what I do as a mom. That counts as work too. And so that was the day I decided, you know what, I am going to figure out how to have some time in the evening just to relax, right? And and so I set boundaries around my work time so that I don't have to work in the evenings anymore. So I can actually decide. Sometimes I do take a call here and there, but I decide what I want to do, right? Other times I block my schedule. So you can really decide how you want to spend your time. It's so important to set those boundaries and give yourself that time to relax because we all need that time. And I had to get help from my own coach with setting boundaries because I had the thought I'm not in control of my schedule. And my coach's reply to this was, well, of course you're in control of your schedule. If you're not in control of your schedule, then who is? And after making this mental shift, I used my scheduling tool, so Calendly, to block out an hour for lunch and put more limits on the time that people could schedule one-on-ones with me. So I do not do one-on-ones or networking in the evenings anymore. That was a boundary that I set. So now that I'm taking back control of my schedule and focusing on the thought, I am the boss of my own schedule. I can choose how to spend my time, right? I can make time for everything I'm passionate about by following and honoring my schedule. So, a practical strategy that you can use to take control of your schedule is to use a calendar link like Calendly. So, you can set limits on when people can talk to you. You can choose to ignore instant messages and work texts when you are with family and enjoying personal time. It's so important to set boundaries, and I would love to help you do that. And this is something that I definitely help my clients do because it does require mindset. Yes, there are a lot of tools available to help you with scheduling and setting boundaries, but the most important tool is actually your mind. So currently, I'm working with a client who has a difficult time with setting her boundaries with her family. And her thought about it is that when her mom interrupts, because she is a caregiver to her mom, that it's hard to tell her no. And so what she realized after coaching with me is that she's actually allowing her mom to interrupt, right? Like we don't control what other people do, but we can control ourselves and our minds. And then we coached on this until she came to the realization that she deserves to give herself time to work on her business. So you deserve to give yourself the gift of time for what you want to do in your life. So the third step is to prioritize, right? I teach my clients how to make time for the activities that are most important with my time prioritization system. And this is something that I use in conjunction with my life zones strategy. So you want to think about the life zones that are most important to you. So for me, my health, my family, my business are a few of my most important life zones. And then write a to-do list under each life zone. And then you'll want to prioritize each to-do list and then schedule each activity into your calendar. Yes, you have to schedule time for the weekly scheduling, but I promise you that it's worth it because you won't waste time wondering what to do at any given moment, right? And you will, this is how you can make time for what's most important to you. You know, one time I heard how we spend our time is how we spend our lives. And this is why it's so important to prioritize what's most important to you and make time for that. Are there things that you could drop or delegate to make more time for the things that you really want to do? So, one of the things that I really do not want to do is dishes. So, it takes me an hour to clean up the dinner dishes. And my goal was to create that time to relax in the evenings. So, but I had this mindset block against asking my son for help because I thought that he wouldn't want to do the dishes. And so, but by focusing on my goal of wanting to create more time to relax in the evenings, one day I finally went ahead and asked him. I thought maybe if I asked him and the price was right, because he does enjoy earning allowance money. So I thought maybe if I offered him $5 an hour or $5 to do the dinner dishes, then maybe he will do that. And you know what? The answer was yes. So he doesn't do dishes every single night, but most nights he does. So most nights I have just created an hour of time for myself. And it's so important to ask for help, right? So that this is one way we can create more time for ourselves, right? We have to get out of that mindset of, as moms, we have to do it all. So it's just not true. And it is a mindset shift, right? And then ask for help. I love the book Success Principles by Jack Canfield, and he has a whole chapter on this. Ask, ask, ask. So that way we have more time to spend in our zones of genius. So, highly recommend that book. The fifth step to achieving work-life balance is to live in the present moment. Once you have scheduled time for what you want to do in your most important life zones, you've got to be present in those times, right? So when it's time for work, when it's business hours, focus on your business. Don't allow other things to distract you, right? When it's time for family, focus on being in the present moment with your family. If you find yourself preoccupied with work when you're with your kids or loved ones, then you're really not present with your family, and your family will sense that. So I know my kids do because I'm not perfect, but I do make an effort to be present, right, in the present moment when it's time to be with my kids. And it's so much more enjoyable. There are so many more opportunities to connect when I do that. And there's no guilt with that, right? So again, the problem with negative emotions is they don't motivate us to take that productive action. So when we indulge in negative emotions such as guilt or overwhelm, then we're actually wasting our time, right? And it's very counterproductive. And so the only thing that we usually do when we're feeling negative is we might spend time buffering. And so what I mean by that is what we do to escape our negative emotions. So it could be scrolling mindlessly on social media. It could be, eating when we're not hungry, shopping for things that we don't need. And buffering is definitely not productive, right? And it costs us our time and our energy. So when you can manage your mind and prioritize your time and focus on the activities that are most important to you in your life and business, you don't have to feel guilty because you are making time for your priorities. And this really is possible, and I would love to help you with this. I offer a complimentary breakthrough session where we'll discuss what's most important to you, your most important goals in your life and business, and how you can break through any obstacles that are getting in the way of getting the results that you want. And so I will leave that link in the comments below. And I look forward to helping you manage your mind and prioritize your time so that you can create a life and business that you love.